computer. Grand Risings, familia. Thank you for joining us. It is a beautiful day in paradise. Paradise for me is now the DMV, and it rhymes with the number 3. Let's go. Live to you from Arlington, Virginia. Why don't you drop in the chat where you're joining us from, what city, what state, and what are you grateful for? We start with an attitude of gratitude. And this call is our Saturday production of leaders call. Why? Because the goal of every follower is to become the leader. So if you're in business for yourself, if you're in business for someone else, if you're not in business but you want to be in business, producing leaders is how you know if you're a leader. That is the one single way to know if you are a leader, is if you are producing other leaders. But in order to do that, you first have to lead yourself. You have to start by leading yourself. Arlington, Virginia, I'm grateful for living springs of living water. Amazing. Pennsylvania, DJ Q coming in hot on a Saturday. Hey, Salt Lake City, Utah, fresh air. South Carolina, what are you grateful for? I am grateful that I got some great night's rest. I woke up feeling fantastic, spent some time with the Lord, did some reading, and I'm excited for this call. I'm grateful for my friends and the progress they have made this summer. Very inspiring. Amazing, guys. Well, I believe you're going to enjoy this call because the title of it is Show Me My Opponent. And it ain't from Lil Wayne. It's from Coach Gabe. Show me my opponent. And the topic we're going to be speaking about here today is competition. Competition. But before we do that, I want to know who can tell me what are the 4 pillars of leadership that we teach here. I'll give you a hint. The first, lead yourself. What's the second, the third, and the fourth of leadership? Love the beard, Luke. Grateful for Kangen water. What are the other 3 pillars, guys? Unmute yourself if you know.
Say
that again.
Lead with the mission.
What comes before the exactly?
Vision, and then the mission, and then
the most important.
Lead others.
That's right. Woo! You got to lead yourself first. If you don't have self-discipline, if you don't have consistency, you have to start by leading yourself first. Mehdi said, then a vision, mission, and then you can lead others. Lead yourself, develop a vision for your life, whatever that looks like for you. You apply the mission, which is how you accomplish the vision, and then you can invite others on the journey with you. Vision, mission, and lead others. That's right. So I wanted to start by just going over that and also telling you guys that there's 20 weeks to go in the year. So there's 20 weeks left in the year. How will you finish? The year's almost gone. And so how are you going to finish the year? Strong? Not so strong? So I challenge you to write down what is it that you want to accomplish from now to the end of the year and go out there and get it because there's only 20 weeks left. I remember when we started, it was 51, and then we've just been trickling down. So 20 weeks left, guys. All right, let's jump into some content. You ready? Drop a 3 in the chat, not a 23. Drop a 3 in the chat if you're ready and if you're going to jump in with us. I don't want to be preaching here, so I need your help. All right? Leaders love competition. Do you agree? Leaders love competition. Do you agree? Yes or no? Why? Unmute yourself. Do leaders love competition?
Yes, because we love to win.
Because we love to win. Amazing. Why else? Why do leaders love competition? Do you think leaders love competition?
I do love competition because I love to compete against myself. I try to be better than yesterday every day.
Amazing. Absolutely.
And I think another reason why a leader might like competition is, for me at least, it's inspiring to see other people. So it reassures me, like, okay, I like doing this. There's other people doing this. Okay, let's do it. You know.
For sure. What about a leader's confidence level? A leader is so confident, and you could think about an athlete, think about Michael Jordan, think about Kobe Bryant, think about, I don't know, Mariah Carey singing. She's a great singer, right? Think of any leader. Their confidence level is so high that they know that they're going to compete, even if they don't win. Louisa said they love winning, right? Somebody unmuted themselves. I don't know if it was Jose or who it was that unmuted themselves. I couldn't see you. Said, I compete against myself. So leaders love competition because they want to compete and they want to win. They don't want to, oh no, I'm just going to show up and see how I do and, live with the results. No, they want to compete because they want to win. They want to be number one. So leaders do love competition. The first point I want to give you is competition brings out the best in me as a leader. Competition brings out the best in me as a leader. I'll give you guys an example. I won the award in 5th grade for top athlete, right, in my elementary school. But before that, we had a 1-mile race. And my best friend now, he's an attorney in Georgia, Mike Rivas, said he was challenging me to the 1-mile race. And it was like on a Friday morning at the school. And I was that whole week, all I would think about was that race, that I couldn't lose to Mike, that I couldn't lose to Mike, that I couldn't lose to Mike. And I was doing Taekwondo at the time. And I had these white Adidas shoes. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those shoes that Taekwondo athletes wear. They're like kind of rounded at the front. They're Adidas made. They're white. They're beautiful, but they're super light. They don't weigh anything. Like you'll never find a lighter shoe. So I had to run this race against Mike on Friday. And what I did was I wore my Taekwondo shoes because they were so light. And I didn't want to lose that race. And I ended up beating him by just a little bit. But I did everything in my power to not lose that race because I wanted to win. I wanted to compete. So I was always looking for that upper edge. And the shoes were the difference factor for me in winning the race, right? All of us that drink Kangen water, we're looking for an edge on life. If you're an athlete, you're looking for the next best thing, right? So I wanted to win so bad that I went the extra mile, and I found that my shoes being lighter were going to give me the edge that I needed to win, and I won. And even till this day, we have a conversation about that because like, dude, you're a freak. What were you thinking bringing your Taekwondo shoes to the track to run a mile? But I won, and I still remember the fact that I won that race in 5th grade. I'm going to be 35, right? So when I compete, right, by competing, two things are going to happen. It's going to be harder for me to plateau, and it's going to be harder for me to get comfortable. So if I'm always competing with myself, I'm not going to plateau. And if I do plateau, like let's say my goal is to make $20,000 a month. I'm just giving you an example. And I've been making 16,000, 16,000, 16,000, 16,000. Well, guess what? I have to challenge myself. I have to write up a competition. I have to find somebody that's going to help me hit that goal so that I don't plateau. So if you are constantly competing with yourself, it'll be harder for you to plateau, and it'll be harder for you to get comfortable in a place where you're like, oh man, I'm not going to wake up early today. I'm not going to work out this week, because you're constantly working on growing and competing with you. Okay? Drop a 3 if you're with me. So when I ran that race and I competed, I showed up as my best self. Have you ever gone to a competition and been like, ah, man, you know what? I'm kind of cool with losing. No. When you compete, you show up as your best self. You show up with everything that you have inside of you to win the race, to win the competition, to win the award. You show up as your best self, as the best version of you. You don't compete and you're like, oh man, yeah, I'm going to give it 30% and hopefully I'll win. If you do, I mean, you're just an interesting individual if you do that. But when you compete, you show up as your best self. For you, for your family, but most importantly for you, right? Which leads me to my second point, which I think it was Jose that said it. My toughest and my only opponent is who? My toughest and my only opponent is myself, is me. When you can conquer the battlefield in the mind daily and you can beat that, you can beat anybody else that they put in front of you. Your hardest opponent, the toughest match, the toughest fight, the toughest person that you're going to have to beat is yourself and your own thoughts. Nobody else. Yes, sir, it was me. Awesome, Jose. Fantastic. Right? If we learn to beat our own thoughts or to understand our thoughts or to be conscious of our thoughts, that our brain produces 60,000 plus thoughts every day, right? And you learn to dominate your brain and your thoughts, it'll be easy to dominate life. It'll be easy to dominate the competition. It'll be easy to win. Because the toughest fight you're going to fight is right in between your ears. You can't do it. You're not good enough. You've been working out 6 days a week and you haven't lost any weight. Just quit now. Right? That's the toughest opponent. So when I say show me my opponent, it's show me myself. Not show me who I'm going to fight in the boxing fight. Not show me who I'm going to play in the basketball game. It's show me myself. Show me my heart. Show me my thoughts. Show me where I'm at. And let me be authentic and real with where I'm at right now and why I'm not winning. And what do I need to do to win? What do I need to do different to win? It's not your opponent, but your weaknesses that hurts you the most, right? I don't know if you guys can relate, but have you ever felt in a place where like you're depressed and you don't want to compete, you don't want to grow, you don't want to do anything? You can unmute yourself and share. I've been there where I just don't want to compete. You're like, hey, Gabe, I'll challenge you to go run a mile. I'll challenge you to close 3 sales. And I'm like, dude, you know what? I don't want to do anything right now. Have you ever been in that spot where you just don't want to compete? You don't really want to do anything? I have. And it's in that moment where you have to find out, why am I feeling this way? What is making me feel this way? And how do I get out of it? So that I can begin to compete again with myself and begin to win. Same, been there. Louisa said same, been there. Mehdi said same, right? And it's how do I get myself out of that funk? Because sometimes it'll go 3 days, a week, 3 weeks, and you don't even realize that you're in the funk. And you're like, oh man, I'm not winning at my life. I'm not winning at exercise. I'm not winning at my relationship. I'm not winning at helping my team win. I'm not even winning. So how am I going to help my team win? How am I going to help my team compete when I'm not even competing with myself? I'm just waking up and going with the flow and living, saying that I'm living the dream, but I'm really depressed, right? And it's getting out of that space and finding sometimes somebody that you can compete with in a healthy manner. Does that make sense? So we compete with ourselves first, but it's okay to find somebody that's going to make you better, that's going to challenge you, that's going to help you compete against you, but also compete against that person. Brian, I challenge you next week to work out 5 days next week. And I'm competing with him, but I'm really competing with myself, but I'm competing with him as well. Not where I want to beat him, just where I'm challenging him, where if you work out 5 days, I work out 5 days. Guess what that creates? Accountability. Now, next Saturday, he's going to come on. He's going to tell me, I did it, bro. Did you? I'm going to be like, nah, man, I only did 4. Or, oh, man, I did 6 because I thought you were going to do 5. So in my head, I'm like, Brian's going to do 5, so I got to do 6. And I ended up working out 6 days next week. So finding an accountability partner that can help you in the process of competing with yourself is something that's a positive thing as well that I recommend. Someone that perhaps is a little better than you at that area that you want to be better in or compete in. Same here. I'll be stuck for a week. Coming back to your big why brings you back during less passionate seasons. Absolutely. Don't fall into comparison. Could that person be my future spouse? Absolutely. Why not, Jose? It could be whoever you want. She might beat you. If she's a lioness, you might begin to compete with her, and she might beat you. So if it's healthy competition and it makes you better, absolutely it could be your future spouse, right? Deanna said, don't fall into comparison, and I want to touch base on that real quick. I've been guilty of comparing myself, and maybe a few of you have as well. But what I want to say more than comparison is collaboration, right? When you compete, instead of comparing yourself or competing with someone else, collaborate with them and become their companion instead of trying to be better than them or comparing yourself to them. Say, hey, Mehdi, I love how you did that video. How can I do that video? And collaboration is always going to be better than competition. Compete with yourself, collaborate with everyone else. You can write that down. Compete with yourself, collaborate with everyone else. Collaborate. That's how you grow. Collaborate with everyone else. And then I do recommend finding someone that you can compete with healthy, in a healthy way. Someone that's going to help you grow, which brings me to my third point. Why should I compete? We kind of mentioned it at the beginning, right? How leaders love competition. But let's say I don't call myself a leader. I don't consider myself to be a leader. Why should I compete, Gabe? What is that going to do for me? I'm not really a leader. I don't really have a team. I just started my business last week. Why should I compete? What do you guys think? You can unmute yourself. Why should I compete? What's that going to bring me? What's that going to do for me?
Kind of just get us out that plateau, if you will. I think for me, if I think about why I should compete or why should I continue to push myself is so I can have that sense of moving forward. When we were talking about being stagnant and having that funk, I feel like every time I snap out of a funk, I leap forward. And then I might fall in it again, but the point is to move forward. I want to feel like I'm moving forward. And I feel like competition will kind of especially when we're talking about competition with self, it's like it's gonna push me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna feel more fulfilled.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was the first answer, is competition provides growth. When I compete with myself, I'm gonna propel myself forward. I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna get better. Right? When I compete with myself, competition brings growth. Competition brings growth. What else does competition bring? Learning experiences. Have you ever competed when you were young and you lost? What did you learn? I didn't lose. I'm learning. Competition brings learning experiences. Good ones, bad ones, ones that make us happy when we win, ones that make us sad when we lost. But competition brings learning experiences. You're gonna learn. When you win, what did I do to win? When you lose, what could I have done better so that I could have got first place instead of 19th place or third or second, right? Competition brings learning experiences. When people don't want to compete, it's because their confidence is lacking. Because they're scared to lose. So if I say right now, this month, I challenge Mehdi. I challenge you. I want to compete with you to see who closes more personal sales. Personal sales this month. I'm competing with him. Why? Because I am confident in my ability to beat him. I don't care. If he does 10, I'm going to do 11. If he does 16, I'm going to do 17. So when somebody is scared to compete, if you have a team, right, and you tell your team, hey, I challenge you. Let's compete. Let's see who does the most, who gets the most prospecting phone numbers today. and you drive that competition to bring that growth, and your team doesn't join in on the competition, is because they're either scared, they don't want to, they're lacking self-confidence, they're lacking self-discipline, or they truly just don't want to build a business, or they're lazy. That's the truth. This is production of leaders. This is not production of followers call. We're building leaders. If you're scared to compete, it's because you're scared of yourself. Competition brings growth. Competition brings learning experiences. And guess what else competition brings? Connection with your deep inner self and with others. Competition brings connection with yourself and with others. I'm watching a show right now with Deanna and Lena called Cobra Kai. Drop a 3 in the chat if you've seen Cobra Kai on Netflix. You never seen it, DJ? You gotta watch it, bro. It's fire, dude. I thought it was like, well, let me tell you why I bring that up. These guys competed in martial arts, in karate, when they were in high school. One of them won and one of them lost. But that competition in high school marked their soul and their spirit and their heart for the rest of their lives. They built a connection. They built a relationship. They built a bond, for good or for bad, because of the competition that they had in high school, because of the competition that I had with Mike in 5th grade. So when you compete, when I go into a boxing ring and I win the national championship for the 35 to 40-year-old division, and the guy that I beat was better than me, but I beat him in boxing, and I became the #1 fighter at 35 years old in the United States in the Masters division, and I win the guy that I fought, I'm going to have a relationship with that guy for the rest of my life, because we're going to become friends. He's going to be like, dude, how did you make that move? Or, dude, what did you do for your camp? Or what did you eat? Or what water did you drink? Or how did you prepare? Like, how did you beat me? I've never lost. So competition brings connection with yourself and with others. That's why we compete. Because it's going to dig deep when you want to quit and you're like, I'm going to compete with myself. I'm going to become the best version of me. And along the process, you find an accountability partner that is committed as you are, that is as hungry or more hungry than you are. Don't find an accountability partner that's lazier than you, that is in less shape than you, and be like, yeah, because that's easy. Find somebody that's better than you. Find somebody that does more exercise, that does more calls, that closes more deals, and say, hey, I want to challenge you. And the person's going to be like, dude, get out of my face. You know, I want, and you find an accountability partner that's going to make you better in the space that you're in, whether it's a magic, whether it's whatever business you're in. Find somebody that you can run with as a lion that's next to you. Don't be a lion and then find a hyena, because it's going to be easy to eat the hyena. Run with lions in the race of competition, because the end reward is going to be so much more valuable. You are my hardest competitor, says the wife. You are my hardest competitor, right? When you compete, you're consistent. When you're constantly competing, you're consistent, and you're hitting the wall with that hammer, and you're hitting the wall with that hammer until, guess what? The wall breaks, boom, and there's diamonds behind the wall. Have you guys ever seen that image of, it's an image on Instagram where there's a guy at the top hitting the wall and he's turning around with the sledgehammer on his shoulder, and then the guy behind is hitting the wall and he breaks the wall, he doesn't quit, and there was diamonds, and the guy at the top was so close to breaking through the wall, but he gave up right at the end. That's what competition does. You keep going until you realize, I'm this close to a breakthrough. I'm this close to getting to where I want to be. I'm this close to making it happen. But if you quit, you'll never see the diamonds. You'll never see the prize. Just fight one more day. That's what a leader does. Because guess what? Your wife is looking at you. Your children are looking at you. Your family is looking at you. You are looking at you in the mirror. And everybody wants to see, did this person stick to this plan for how long, or did they quit? Everybody's watching, and it doesn't matter who's watching. What matters is, are you watching yourself? Are you aware of what is going on inside of you? Are you competing with yourself in a healthy, loving way? Not, you suck, man, you didn't do anything. No. Compete with yourself in a loving way, saying, I love you, I'm proud of you. You worked out 3 days this week. That's okay, because last week you worked out 2. So next week we're going to work out 4. And the next week we're going to work out 5. And we're going to get better. And little by little, we're going to celebrate the little wins. That's competition. Celebrate the little victories, the small wins. Give yourself a pat on the back that you did it, that you showed up on a Saturday at 9 a.m. Give yourself praise. You have to be your biggest fan. You have to believe in you that you can be number one at whatever it is that you want to do. You are your biggest fan. You are number one. It doesn't matter if your dad told you you sucked. It doesn't matter if your dad told you you're not good enough or your mom didn't support you. You support you. You love you. You develop the leader that lives inside of you. You believe in you. And if you do that, people are going to join you on the journey and they're going to want to be a part of what you do. It doesn't matter if you make socks for a living. You can be the best sock maker in the world and people are going to want to make socks with you on the corner of the street because they see the leader that's inside of you. That's what this call is about, is leadership, is showing up. 20 weeks left. If I find value in this call, in these 30 minutes, I'm going to show up. I'm going to join every Saturday because I want to get better. I want to compete with myself. I want to challenge myself. I want to grow. And a year from now, I don't want to be in the same place that I am right now. I don't want to be in the same place. So I need to do something different. I need to compete with myself. That's how you get to the next level. Great athletes, great business owners. Do you guys know that most millionaires are freaks at working out? Most millionaires, they do triathlons. They do a bunch. The other day, I met Jeff Conine. Does anybody remember Jeff Conine from the Major League Baseball? Anybody know Jeff Conine from the Florida Marlins? Well, this guy he won national championships in baseball. And I met him. He had a tattoo on his right leg of the Iron Man. For those of you that don't know what an Ironman is, it's running a full marathon and the same day, right after biking 120 miles and then swimming 2.10 miles or something like that, all in the same day. What's my point? He was a millionaire. He had already retired, but he wanted to compete with himself. He wanted to challenge himself. And he had the tattoo, which means that he had actually done an Ironman challenge. He competed with himself, 54 years old. Most successful people, they compete with themselves so much and they are their hardest critic because they want to grow. They don't want to get stagnant. They want to get better. They need to do the next thing. They need to create Big Mo. We talked about momentum last Saturday. That's what leaders do. ¿Cuál fue la pregunta al mesero? ¿Qué le hice en Jacksonville? When I was in Jacksonville, I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. I want you to pay attention. I was in Jacksonville with Nick, my wife, and his wife last week. And Nick was telling me about Jim Rohn has 2 questions that he asked. He's like, these are the 2 most powerful questions that you can ask anybody. So I'm at the table having dinner, and Nick is telling me about these questions. The first question is, have you found the opportunity of a lifetime? You meet a random person, right? Scott. What's up, Scott? Have you found the opportunity of a lifetime that's going to give you freedom for you and your kids? And Scott says, no. Wow, that's a powerful question. And okay, what about the second one? Are you spending time every week in order to find that opportunity? And Scott says, no. First question, have you found the opportunity that's going to create the freedom for you and your family and your kids? Have you found that opportunity? Scott said, no. Second question, are you spending time every week searching for that opportunity? Scott said, no. Okay. So Nick is explaining this to me at the dinner table. The waiter comes and I asked the waiter, they were all in shock because they didn't think I was going to do this. But I asked the waiter, hey, have you found this opportunity? He said, no. He goes, I said, are you spending time every week looking for it? He said, no. I said, how would your kids feel about that? And he goes, wow. And he was drawn back. He's like, that's powerful. And I was like, let's jump on a call. Let's talk business. I gave him my phone number, right? I followed up with him the next day, and he took it personal. He's like, man, you shouldn't ask me how my kids would feel. You should tweak your pitch and all that. He became defensive, and he took it personal, right? Which is okay. I was just doing an exercise to show my wife and show Nick and show Haley that that exercise works, right? And I was leading myself, seeing if this really worked. And the point of it is that that's what leaders do. They look for other leaders. If he took it personal, he's going to continue to wait tables the rest of his life, or he's going to continue to work a job the rest of his life. That's fine. I'm not knocking waiters. I'm not knocking working a job. I'm just saying that he's not the person that I want to partner with in business, because he's not a leader. He took it personal instead of being like, hey, man, I love that you challenged me with that question. Help me find the answer. I'm coachable. I'm credible. I need help. Those are the people that you want to build with. I don't know how to do it, but can you help me? Because if you can't help me, get out of my face. I'm looking for somebody that can help me. Can you help me? Yes. Okay, how can you help me? If not, don't waste my time. Tell me yes, tell me no, tell me quick because I got to go. That's what leaders do. Did anybody find value in this call? I'm 2 minutes over. We're gone. We're out of here. Next Saturday, same place, same time. We're going to bring some value. I hope you guys learned something. This is all practice for all of us. Competition. Compete with yourself. Thank you. You're welcome. Yes, sir. Love it. Awesome, guys. Invite somebody. Don't keep this for yourself. Tell somebody next Saturday, hey, let's go listen to this crazy Hispanic dude speak about leadership, because I believe it's going to edify and build your life. It's going to bring value to you. You're welcome, Colin Ray. Love you. All righty, guys. Make it a powerful Saturday. Go connect with somebody. Be great. Don't be anything less. Love yourself. Love everybody else. Love God. And enjoy it. The joy is in the journey.